Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Airships Conquer the Skies. Today's beverage is... Okay, today's beverage had a coaster stuck to the bottom that dropped off when I picked it up and frightened me half to death. Today's beverage is... a nice cup of ruby breakfast. So, in the previous videos, we've been making, well, stuff like that in the background, some sort of kamikaze ship. We've made what we can, I guess, diplomatically call interesting, quirky designs that only work in edge case scenarios, and that is certainly the diplomatic way of saying we've made stupid stuff that doesn't work. However, I think we need to get a bit grounded a bit, and no pun intended, and make a static defense that is going to be useful and also quite interesting and something a bit different. And that's what we're going to do, because if we go over to, say, I don't know, design and fight and airships editor, we can see that if we open the design, we've got a lot of stuff in here. So we've got like the Sunderland, we've got Testington, we've got the Sandwich class, we've got the Rock Tosser. These very base ones were actually really good. We've got the Necrosis, we've got the Dresden, all types of different stuff, and some of them don't work, some of them do work, like the Barry, that was okay, the York was fine. That certainly wasn't. Anyway, we've got a lot of stuff there, but if we go over to our building editor, we can see that open design, we really don't. The White Lookout is the standard one that's in the game that we generally we encounter in the campaign that we've just saved up. Same for the Dark Cube, and all we've done is just edit that slightly. So our Black Citadel is the same one. That Fortress there, that was another one of the ones that we messed around with, because this has actually got, I believe that's got the dragon stuff. Sorry, no, it's not dragon hide, it's shell armor. Yeah, it's the the shell armor, which makes it float a bit. Anyway, we want to clear that, and we want to make something that is useful but also fun and interesting. And I think we need to really look at something that's going to be it's going to stay in the fight for quite some time. Something that's, I say, cheap, relatively cheap. We're talking 1,500, so I guess it all depends on your point of view. And we also want something that can take out the majority of enemies. So we want flak for certain, and we want some sort of forward-facing and maybe rear-facing weapons. I haven't yet decided. There is some merit of saying that you can make things that just all point forward, and if they then have to try and fly over you, they then get shot to bits. So we'll see how we get on. There will be multiple iterations as we mess around with this one, and I do stress mess around. Now, I was looking at some of these weapons in here, and I was thinking of going for something like a heavy cannon, but as you can see from the bottom there, it says flammable and explodes easily, and that's certainly not something we want. Oh, by the way, just a sort of extra junction here, if you cannot read this, then by all means let me know. I have a new monitor, aspect ratios changed, as well as the res, because I'm running 2K now, so basically this might be a bit too small for your devices. If that is a problem for you to read that text, then by all means let me know, and I can alter the UI and stuff. It's just going to be a testing game, so apologise in advance if that's a problem. But looking through the weapons, there's one that stood out, and that is the Sponson. And also, do we have a heavy Sponson? We do have a heavy cannon, heavy turret. There's light Sponson and Sponson. Now, the Sponson is very different from any of the other weapons in the game, because it can be stacked. So the weapons actually hang out the side, which means you can put them one in front of the other. Typically, if you have a Gatling gun, you've got the arc of fire there, that's the arc of fire, and then you've got the line across the base, so you can't put anything in front of it, won't even let you place it. So we're going to build something based on sponsons, so probably a couple of rows of sponsons, the weapons and everything else on the bottom, and then the flak on the top. And it should be quite a squat building, but quite a large footprint. If we just go to cannon here, I'm just going to place them next to each other, and we're going to compare the two. So the Sponson, actually we'll go for the cannon first. So the cannon is piercing damage 50, reload time 3.5 seconds, arc of fire 70 degrees, so quite good. Maximum accurate range is 960 meters, and the HP is 100. It's flammable and may explode. The Sponson is piercing damage 40, so it's slightly less damage. Reload time is 2.7 seconds, so it's actually faster. Arc of fire is only 40 degrees, so it's a lot less than the cannon there, but it's still probably acceptable, although there will be a blind spot in this, which is a bit of a shame. If you take that out, you can see that there, and then if you put the flak on the top, you can see that there is, I believe, a arc of fire, what is it? Arc of fire 120. So yeah, there probably will be a dead zone in this one, but because we'll be stacking them up, we'll have to see if that's a massive issue or not. Anyway, we'll place that back there. We've got our maximum accurate range, 840 meters, so not much off the 960. It's not too bad. In terms of HP, it's actually got a bit more HP. It requires the same number of crew, and it's flammable and may explode. So the advantage is, and actually, what's another thing as well? The cost. What is the cost of this? It does not say. Where is the cost? It's also quite long, as you can see. We're going to put the cannon back on there. Cannon, 95 for the cannon, and the Sponson is 110, I believe. I think 110, yeah. So the Sponson is, for what the cannon is, I guess, objectively better for killing stuff because it's got better range, got more damage. It doesn't reload as fast, so the DPS might be a little bit... Actually, probably... I don't know. I haven't crunched the numbers, but it might be the same, considering that you fire faster with that one, but the piercing damage is lower, but you also have less accurate range and the fire arc. I'm sure someone can crunch the numbers, but I'm not going to go too much into that. It's probably neither here nor there, but, I mean, who knows? Either way, the cannon, you'd have to stack them like that. And we've made stuff like that before, so we want to make something that's quite small. Have a lot of these Sponsons, quite a large footprint, and as I said, got some stuff on the top. So, what I want to do is have, we probably will use cannons actually, we probably will use some cannons on the front here. So, I'm going to put some, I'm probably going to double row this up, so we have, say, the cannons like that, and then these maybe in there. Although, what I'll do is I'll remove all of these, put one of those there. And we're going to have, if we go over to our basic here, corridor with ladder running right up like that. And then we'll have a row of Sponsons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 with a gap. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 with a gap. And actually that should be probably acceptable. And the whole point is that we connect them up like so. And we can bring ammo up to these Sponsons. And I also want to go for the same thing again on the top here. And that is double rowed. And then once again we have a cannon there like that. Alright, so, and then on the top we have our flak. And immediately I can tell that we're already going to be massively overpointed from what I originally anticipated. But that's never stopped us before. We could have a deck gun on the front, but I believe it's very easily destroyed. May explode, actually, so deck gun on the top is not too bad. Let's have a look at the top turret here. Flammable and may explode. That isn't a bad idea, per se, having that there. There we can't have it, but we can have it there. Let's see what else we could go for. We could go for heavy turret, but that's slightly flammable and may explode, whereas that is flammable and may explode. Ah, okay, so the heavy turret is actually better for that, because it's only slightly... it's only slightly flammable. Whether or not we can fit flak on this, we'll have to see. Flak cannon. Yes, flak will actually go on this one. The problem with flak is that we do need another row, which is going to look a little bit crap, but we'll see what we can do. And we'll have to do that, and oh, we'd have to run right across like that. That's not ideal, is it? That's far from ideal, actually. And also, is this really overdoing it? I mean, yes, it is. It is very overdoing it, but that's never really stopped us before. And also, the lack of connection there is really annoying. Okay, right. I'm going to remove these because there might be a better way of doing that. Instead of having... Where will it be? Command and crew. Instead of having barracks... Oh, yes, we can have barracks. Ah, but barracks don't have a one up the top there. But that's not too bad, because we can have barracks going along here like so. Like that. And then connect these up. And then it means we have crew 84. Yes, recommended crew 69. So that's not too bad. I'm gonna raise that up a little bit and put some more crew in there. I'm actually going to delete... how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to delete that one because I don't like it where it is. Or do I keep it? I'm not too sure. Maybe that. Okay. So there's that in there. We've got more than enough crew. We do need things like a bridge, which we'll place in and around here after we've placed some other stuff, because I'm very aware we don't have any fire points, and that is not a good thing. Let's go over to resources, and we want a fire point, and we'll place it as close to... Actually, what we'll do is place one there, we'll place one there, And we'll put the ammo in and then place the rest around. Machine shop we could have, but it's already up to 3 grand here, so this is already much more expensive than I originally budgeted for. But I mean, it's not too bad. Let's remove those there. And we do have some gaps here. So, well, in terms of armor, by the way, we're not going to go with shell armor. We'll go for probably stone wall, I think, and fill, and there we go. That cheapens it out somewhat. Right, okay, that's okay. So brick wall is HP 40, weight 45. Stone wall is weight 100, HP 80, absorbs some stuff, and then massive stone wall, which is really, really good. But that requires fortification tier 3. In terms of pricing, it will increase the price somewhat, but it's not too bad. And I don't think we're focusing really on the. I don't think we're focusing really on the tech level of this thing. Okay, so, we got that in. What else do we need? According to the top right, buildings need more supply hatches and can't give commands. So let's fix both of those, and we'll go over to command and crew. We do want a... Oh, we could have a... Do we want a crow's nest? Sadly, we can't put a crow's nest in. We'll never be able to put... Oh, we will actually be able to put one in. We could do that. You know what? I don't actually mind that at all. That is the most perilous job in the game, isn't it? Okay, who's up for it? Any volunteers? You're just looking around. Bob? No. Giselle? No. Gwendolyn? No. Right, Tom, get up that. Oh, I don't want to do that. Well, it's either that or you're washing the slop off the floors down there. I'd rather lick the slop off the floors. Nope, you're in the crow's nest. Bang, there you go. And now you are probably deaf because you've got flat cannons firing to the left and right of you. You're perched up just above everything else, and you're in not exactly a heavily armoured basket, are you? I think the first shot's just going to go bunk and take his head clean off. Anyway, that's by and by. So we're going to go down to command and crew. We do need a bridge. In fact, I'm very tempted to put 2 bridges in because you never know. We do need more supply hatches. Actually, I'll place this further forward with a sick bay behind it. That's not a sick bay. I'll put the sick bay behind it. I will place... not all buildings mutually accessible. That is correct. I will now do that, and now it is mutually accessible. More supply hatches. We're going to go to our resources and then to a reinforced cargo door, and we'll put one of them in there. And that is about it. We have this little gap of 4x4. Is there anything else we can put in? Probably not. I'm just having a quick look around. We don't need sick bay. It would be really nice if we could get structural... Not structural, where is it? A machine shop in there, but it's also very, very large indeed. And it means altering the design somewhat. I mean, it wouldn't take too much to fit one in. It's just a shame. Oh, we can put a repair bay in. We cannot put a repair bay in. What I'll do then, I'm actually going to place that there. I'm going to remove that and place the bridge back over to there. Place the machine shop in there. Bridge can go back just a smidge. And, oh, actually, no, that's all kinds of bad. I was going to place the other stuff around there. That would be all bad. I was going to place the things around there for the entranceways, but that means that boarding this would be very, very easy, rather. Reinforced supply hatch, we can probably just make a row there, and that actually does the job with that bit on the bottom there. Ideally, though, it would be further back like there, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So we'll remove those bits there. We will put the sick bay further forward. We'll put the machine shop further back. We'll put them back where they were. That can go up to there. And then that's on the bottom rung. And there we go. That is, I believe, it. So it is a big cube because that's generally how we build things around here. There is some benefit, actually. Let me try and go for slope. Can we increase the slope? We can't, but we can flip it round. What I'm going to do is just put that slope in there, and then a slope like that. And the reason for that is if everything falls, I believe it'll just sort of crunch down. Actually, will it slide off, or is that just me being hopeful? Well, we'll leave it on, because it gives it a little bit extra. It's a bit like a boat now. Fair enough. Not too convinced about this. These are still going to explode at the drop of a hat. But we do hopefully have enough... Actually, ammo. There's a thing. Do we have enough ammo for all of this? No, I don't think we do. but it also depends on how long it's going to last. Either way, that is our first version. It's also called the Flying Fortress, which is just not the case. We are going to rename that as the Land Fortress. Generally how things are anyway. Save the design as the Land Fortress, and we will give this one a... Ooh, that's a weird thing. And we'll give this one a go. So we'll go to combat. We'll have it on a nice day. We're going to add a building as the Land Fortress, and we will place it probably on this little hill, because why not? And there we are there. It, yeah, looks quite good just perched there. I like that. So it is 2,907. So we'll say add airship, and let's see, is anything roughly around that price? Well, the Harry is in there, but I think we decimate that pretty much in one go. Well, I'll tell you what, let's put that to the test. Let's put the Harrier in. I don't really know where it wants to go, so I'll just place it there, and we will start the fight, and immediately we're going to see that this is going to get all manner of shots out there. I'm going to put it on aim fire. There's our shots going out there. We are taking some shots back, but oh my good grief. See the amount of shots there whizzing out? They have got their planes coming, and yep, they're going to just go over the flak and then get shot to absolute... Oh yeah, them planes are not lasting long at all. So... our shots are whizzing out. It is moving forward, and that makes perfect sense because it is trying to get into that little sort of dead zone between our cannons, sorry, between our sponsons and the flak, although it's probably about there now, and then it's just headed over to where the flak is, and that's not worked out quite too well. So... if we go to outside view, we can see that we have sustained some damage. We've lost 2 flak guns, but all of the sponsons and all the cannons are still working. I think we can definitively say that we've won that fight, which we sort of expected because, to be fair, the Harrier is a little bit overpointed, because planes are very good, but because you can't command them to like stay below a certain height or anything like that, it can be quite a problem. So we'll try that once again. So we'll go over to the Land Fortress. I'm going to place it once again, sort of nestled back there. In terms of the airship, let's give it a proper task now. We're going to place a Dresden in here, which is our high-level bomber, very heavily armed, one of the best vessels that we've made. We'll add a... another airship. So we need another 1,500-ish. There's a rock tosser. Again, one of the best vessels that we made because it is quite cheap for the amount of stuff it's got. It's basically just large suspendium dust tanks, a small sail, and then loads of grenades on the front as well as the ammo store. And it's on the front and the back, as you can see, grenades flipped on either side. And the whole point is it just slowly drifts over the top and drops loads of stuff. This is when we were on the... building the very basic designs, so using the tier 0. Everything in here is tier 0, so not even, yeah, everything, as you can see, doesn't require tiers 1 or anything like that. It's all tier 0 here. Anyway, we're not going to place that because we've already got high-leveling stuff. We will place a Sterling, perhaps? No, because these are Gatling guns, and I don't know how they'll fare against the armour. In fact, you know what? There's only one way to try, so we'll place them there. You can see we are giving it the best chance because we are placing them this to the top left, so because it wants to go high and above them, and then we'll place this one as low as possible because it's got a very good arc of fire and it'll want to get in very quickly. Actually, we'll put it there so it doesn't crash into those. And let's just see how we get on. So we will start the fight and go, and there we go. Shots are whizzing out. You can see immediately the focus has been on, by the look of it, the Dresden, although that might change. So the Dresden is coming right above us there. Flak is currently not doing too much, and there we go. Oh, actually, yeah, can I qualify that? Yes, it looks like the flak has done a great deal. The Dresden is now dead. However, we have another problem, and that is that the Sterling has now been sandwiched on the ground behind us, and as you can see, it is absolutely obliterating us from the back, which is something that we sort of expected, and we did call this at the start. Okay. So that is hitting us at the back. That is not good. So I'm going to leave that. Its speed did mean that it could get right over the top and around the back. So we're going to go over to the building editor, open the design. We're going to open the Land Fortress, and we'll do the retrofit that we sort of expected to do. So we'll remove that. We'll go over to our modules here. We'll go over to weapons, scroll down to cannons. We will flip that. I'm so glad that I'm so glad that that was implemented so we can spin these things around. And if we wanted to, we could place a turret on the other side. Yeah, instead of the big list of like this and then flipped, the button's much better. We could place these things that I mentioned, but I don't know if we want to. Also, I think was the design slightly wrong here? That should have been further up by 1. That should be to there. That should go to there. And then we have that along like so, because otherwise there is no connection that way. Yeah, I think that's what we were going to do originally, weren't we? Okay, well, if we're going to overhaul it, we might as well overhaul it now. So we'll do that, and then we'll place... Shame we can't place another flak in there. We'll place that like so and along to there. And then, do we want to place another one of those heavy cannons? Heavy turret, rather, flipped. Right. No, I don't think we do want to do that, because the cost increase is 500. I don't think we do want to do that at all. No, I think that was... Maybe the idea is there, but we don't really need it, do we? Actually, what would be the cost if we removed all this as well? Hang on, let me just place that there. There had to be a reduction in cost at all, to be honest. Okay. So we've got cannons on the back, so we've increased it only by 100 by a couple hundred actually. So that's not too bad. In terms of armor, we're still rocking the same stuff. The majority of armor is pointing forward, but this should prevent stuff just going around the back and having free reign. So we're going to save the design. We will give that a version 2, I think. Actually, no, I don't think we will. I think we did account for this at the start. We did specify that it was probably going to be altered in this way at the start. So we can consider this trials. And we'll open the building once again. Land Fortress, which will go on that bit there. Again, we're putting it in the middle to give them a little bit of a chance. We'll add an airship. We'll put the Dresden back in. I think we're going to fight with the same sort of things. We'll place that in there. Add in the airship, and we'll have probably the Sterling. And once again, we're going to place it a little bit higher so it can go up and around, because we know that's what it's going to do. So we're giving them the best chance possible. We are overpointed a little bit, so we'll go to land ship, and I think we can afford maybe I don't know, a mini tank. Get a mini Tankington in there. We'll put a mini Tankington in there. They are overpointed by about 300 now, but you know, we'll give them a fair chance there. We'll give them a fair shout. So it looks like immediately shots were whizzing out there, and the Sterling is flying right overhead, which is something we expected. Dresden is dropping a hell of a lot of armament on us there. That's a lot of bombs. Sadly, the oh, poor little thing. Let me pause it a second. It looks like the mini Tankington has not fared well with a million weapons pointing forward at it. The flak, however, is working quite well. I'm going to probably just let it do its own thing. We have got it on a normal fire there rather than rapid or anything else. The Sterling has lost its nameplate, which means it's no longer Sterling. We have just had the Dresden land on top of us. It's now carving through us, but it is pretty much dead for all intents and purposes. Sterling, by the look of it, is still in the fight. It does have 3 weapons left, although there's about to be a big explosion. There's all of the weapons gone. That means that's now dead. That's dead. And I think that's a victory. It is. So, first thing I noticed, the majority of our weapons only were used for the first initial wave, so they fired a couple of shots before they got above it. We understand that because of the sheer amount of flak that we have. Secondly, how long was that fight? Minute and a half maximum. Half ammo, less than half ammo, quarter ammo. 122 400. Right, so we need more ammo if we're going to stay in the fight. But, considering the amount of damage we took, we probably wouldn't be in the fight much longer anyway. So maybe it's fine. Maybe that is okay. Let's go to a night fight, because it'll look interesting. Add a building. Once again, we'll add the land fortress, and we are fielding this singular. We're not fielding it. I'm going to actually give it to our advantage. I'll put it right at the back. We are filling these in ones, but if you pair these up, it'll be much better. Put one there and put one there, and yeah, or just next to each other would be alright, because it means they're going to have to go over the top to get more flak, or to get round the back, and they'll receive more flak, rather. Okay, so we'll add an airship. What should we add? What should we add? The Necrosis is not great. The New York was actually a decent vessel. Just very expensive. The Sandwich was useless for what we're going to do. The Sterling is good. That is the Sunderland version 2, which is the lifter vessel, which we had a nice mess around there. The Testington, that's all Sponsons, I believe. It is Sponsons, yes. The T-head, this is where we made the transforming type thing. The Unassailable is that's Moondisk Fragment and bombs, because this was the highest level bomber that we could achieve. And then the York. We've also got the Austin, which that might be an interesting fight actually. Pitting the Austin against it. The Crane we really don't need. Okay, we're going to put the Coventry against it because we haven't used that in anger for quite some time. So we're putting the Coventry in. We'll add another airship, and you know what? We are going to put the Austin in with a big flaming vessel there. But that means that these two, I'll move this further down, and I'll move this further up. That means that we can add another building. So we are going to place in the land fortress once again. Make sure it's the right orientation. And we're on 6,492. They're on 7,140. So we are well underpointed, but hopefully we'll be alright. So we will start the fight. Immediately you can see a whole wave of shots going out. I am going to focus primarily on the Austin because that is the one that's giving me the most worry, because it is full of a lot of flamethrowers, and when it gets close it will absolutely decimate us if it gets too close. Although saying that, it's just got within the flak field, and yes, I think our Doom, it's not even Doom Tower, our Doom vessel is absolutely wrecking it, but we are defeated and not under command because we have lost the bridge. We've also lost a big chunk of this thing as well because of the landing of that on top of us. But you can see our shots are still whizzing out. The Coventry is firing. It's doing its best. It's firing all of its rockets, but it's not faring too well. It's just lost. Oh, its bottom's just fallen out, and that's something you really don't want to have happen. And it's also burning from stem to stern. So I think once again we have won that fight. Okay, let's leave that and let's do something pretty stupid. Let's go over to building land fortress. One of them. Airship. Excalibur. One of them. Excalibur. 16,569 points versus one Soul Land Fortress. 3,246. We are going to get absolutely hammered. The Excalibur has, in no particular order, 2 large rockets, 1 heavy flamethrower, 3 heavy cannons, loads of Gatling guns up here, 2 flak, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 large suspendium chambers, large propeller, 3 normal propellers, as well as 2 biplanes and 3 bombers and an ungodly amount of aerial hussars. And we'll start the fight and lose it pretty much immediately. But let's see how we get on. It has deployed its complement of fighters and bombers and aerial hussars, and they're going to pick us to death here. You can see that they are going for a bombing run up top there, but our flak is firing away, and hopefully we'll take care of business. However, the aerial hussars are coming in and are getting absolutely decimated. Yeah, they've lost pretty much all of their aerial hussars and the bombers. So now we are... Oh, by the way, they've also got torpedoes. I think the torpedoes fired from there. Yeah. Okay, so we're now firing against this thing here. The land fortress, I just put it there on aimed fire, and we've now lost command and have been split in half. So we've taken out all of the complement of fighters and hussars. The only thing they have left is 1 bomber. They are taking some damage, but... as you can see, I think we've taken some more. We are left with, it looks to be about 6 Sponsons plus the complement of forward-facing cannons. There is the big rocket. Oh, yeah, that causes a lot of damage. That's going to cause more. Yeah, okay. So, in terms of its damage, we haven't really done a lot to it, and I think it's going to decimate us. Oh God, look at that flock of birds. They're right near it. It looks really good. I think that does highlight the downsides of. I think that does really does highlight the downsides of the planes and hussars, because there's no way to control them. And I've said it multiple times before. They just charge in and die. It would be nice to be able to control like their height or when they engage, or just say, look, wait, because if they waited a little bit, the rockets would be fired, they would blow stuff up, they would probably take out the flak, because the flak generally doesn't have a lot. I don't think it has a lot of HP. Once that's gone, then you launch them. Once the flak field's gone, once you don't have that, yeah, you could do that. Anyway, we'll go to building once more, land fortress, and we're going to place 2 of these in. We'll place 1 and then 2, and that should be better. And we will start the fight, and let's just see how we get on. I'm going to put all these on rapid fire. I really don't care about the ammo conservation here. It's just all about getting all of the ammo out of the storage and into this thing. So there is the aerial torpedoes coming in, as well as the aerial hussars. We can see that they are getting absolutely decimated once again. And yeah, our forward land fortress is getting absolutely hammered, as we sort of expected. However, the back one has not actually taken much damage at all. You can see that we are putting out fire here. Fire, by the way, is a bit of a problem in the centre. If we went on the overlay, I didn't check it, but I knew that the overlay would say that basically this here, they do have water, because we got them either side there, but there is a lack of water in the centre, so it does tend to burn from the middle, so that may be something to look at. It looks like the Excalibur has taken a fairly big hit on the front there. There was an explosion, so we've got the front armament of this thing destroyed. We are getting some burning around here. You can see the armour has been chipped a little bit, and we can see all of the suspendium crystals in the back end. We have lost the majority of the forward land fortress, and we are still burning from the middle there, so I think another revision is needed to put some more fire prevention in the centre, because that tends to be where it burns up. And if we did that, that would probably help us out. It looks like they have lost a couple of suspendium, or at least one of them dropped out for a second there. You can see there's also a secondary suspendium section here. This thing is one of the heaviest vessels, if not the heaviest, that we've made. It's still got 2 torpedoes as well as the heavy cannon there, but it is still taking a lot of punishment. I mean, it's still definitely in the game. That it's still in the game. We are still firing shots out, but it will probably outlive us, because it doesn't have the disadvantage of well, it's got a lot more. It's got a lot more ammo than we do, and it's 16,000 points versus about 6,500-ish, so it is over double the points value. But considering that we've managed to substantial damage to it, and it's still not over, I'm going to speed up to max speed just to see how we get on. It looks like they are going to win this fight anyway. They've still got some aerial hussars there, which are picking this thing to pieces. It has lost some suspendium. It's lost 3 of the large suspendium chambers on the top there, or the giant ones rather, and the aerial hussars are picking us to death. Yeah, there we go, and there's a defeat. Okay, one more combat then. We'll go to add a building. So actually, I wanted something a bit more, with a bit more. Yeah, there we go. Topography. We'll go for a snow fight. Add airship. What we're going to put against it? The necrosis, no. The prim. We could put loads of prims against it. Should we do that? We'll put a primitive fight against it. So we'll go for building, the land fortress. We'll place it on this hill there, and we'll add airship. We'll go for the basic. No, not the basic. Where is it? It is the rock tosser, which goes up there, very high level. I'll move it down a little bit just so I can see the points value. That's 1,400. We're going to go for airship, the basic, and that is 1,200, which that should be about right. They are well under point actually. We'll go for another airship, and we'll go for, where is it, the prims, and we'll put 1, 2, 3 prims in there. They're overpointed by a couple of 100 points. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. And we will start the fight. And there we go. So there's a lot of shots out. You can see they are charging right towards us. Now, these things here are a bit naughty. They've got a lot of those ballistas, which are really, really good indeed. It looks like the vessels are sitting within this sort of weird dead zone there. And, oh, that's bad. That's bad for them. We've got the central section taken out of the rock tosser, which means that it fell right down in this big sort of N shape and has now landed on top of this, which is also now carving its suspendium tanks up, which means it's now landed right in front of the myriad of weapons that we have. Okay. Yeah, that's really not going to be too much of a problem for me now. Yeah, you can see that they are blowing up in the middle here. We need more fire prevention in the centre there. Okay, so that is another win. So overall, very happy with what we've achieved there. Don't know whether we could achieve the same thing, if not better, with cannons and just made it taller. But I like the fact that it's quite a long structure, which means we can put a lot of flak on the top. So anything trying to fly over it does get hit quite hard. The additional cannons on the back were certainly a must for the first revision. Second revision, I will at some point remove, I think I'll try and fit in here, well, somewhere around here, another water tank, probably in here. But if we remove that and those 3, that's a gap of 4. We can have a 2 and a 2. Remove that, then we've got a gap of 6, which means another ammo store, because I think ammo is a bit of an issue. Although, to be fair, yeah, we are totally out of ammo apparently, but we did win. I am still of the opinion that we probably need a little bit more ammo. Yeah, I think so. So another revision is needed, I believe, to increase fire prevention, especially around the centre. Let's go over to Landship Editor. Over to Building Editor. We're not going to do this, by the way. We're not going to revise it now, but I'm just going to check the overlay. You can see water. Yeah, this is where we're starting to burn around here. So we can go up and round and across and up and around, but that's the problem. What we'd need to do is probably remove these, place one of those in there, remove those like so, and then place another ammo store in there. And then if we really wanted to, we could do that. And that's removed, sadly, it's removed a fair amount of sponsons. It's removed a total of 4 sponsons. But it has cheapened up a little bit, and if we go to overlays, you can see, oh no, fire prevention is still bad because those are not connected, you see. So what we'd have to do is, actually what we could do is do it the other way. So remove those, put that there, put that there, and then, sadly that's not going to fit in there, is it? It's not going to fit in. What if we remove that there, put the ammo store there either side? That's so going to explode. In basic, we can put a... we don't have a small... We have a fire point, but we don't have the little corridor ones. Okay, yeah, some revision is needed to increase the fire. If we just do that, though, we'll see now that water is actually apparently not great up the top there. Oh, of course, because these are... yeah, I'd have to do something like that. And then that. Yeah, something like that anyway. We still have lost out on some sponsons, although we've got 3 on the back. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So it's not too bad. Overall, happy with what we've achieved there, but that has been a bit of Airships Conquer the Skies. If you have any designs or anything you would like us to build, then by all means, drop them in the comments below. If you have any suggestions for changes on any of the designs, including the one we've just made there, then once again, put them in the comments and we will iterate on what we've done. As always, if you have enjoyed the video, thanks very much for watching, take care, and generic partings.